All right. The Japanese work life can usually be seen as excessive, dedicated, extreme, and usually associated with workaholics. My name is Sheila Montanez, and I'll be presenting you about the work life of Japanese. There have been studies that found that Japanese people have been dying due to being overworked. This is called karishi, which literally means overworked. They've been found that people have been working 100 plus hours of overtime, usually unpaid. And approximately 1 in 5 are in risk of 80 hours of overtime in a month, and 1 in 10 over 100 plus overtime hours of usually unpaid. Salaryman refers to people who are overworked in Japan, such as businessmen, accounting, finances, anything having to do with business, usually. It became so difficult that convenience stores sell clean clothes to those who haven't had a chance to work home, because they usually go from work to home, but they don't really have time to do anything else. Since they're so much at work, sometimes they actually sleep at work. They actually sleep in the sidewalks, in the train stations, at the train. They sleep in restaurants. They don't have time to go home. They don't have a life anymore. They just spend all their time just working. And they usually thought that it was just people dying from being overworked, but now it's actually decreasing in population, such as if you are working 100 hours and you're still 18, you're not gonna have time to have social life, to have a girlfriend, to have a fiance, to get married or have children. How is the population gonna go up if you're working and not making a social life? Deaths in Japan outnumber the births at a rate of 1,000 a day. So for every birth, there's 1,000 deaths. Compared to American work life, Japan is not that different. Both American and Japanese are based off self-worth. Japanese work life named it kaizen. Kaizen means to constantly strive for improvement. We both think of our value, but most of them don't think of what we're gonna do afterwards. Like if you're worth $1 million, but you're still working, who's that money gonna go towards? There's some cases that people who don't have family actually go to your apartment after you die and clean everything out and actually donate the stuff they can. So all that work goes for nothing. In Japan, there's a big respect for employers.
Just keep going.
I'll edit that
Just keep
out.
going.
In Japan, there's a big respect for employers and ranks. Employees are encouraged to suggest improvement to the system so that companies and its people can constantly evolve for better. Calling each other by first name and leaving the office before your boss is considered rude. So how we go up to someone and go, hey, hi Bob, you can't do that. You gotta go, hi Mr. Roberts, or whatever her last name is. And usually because the high ranks are considered to be more important, you cannot leave without them leaving first. And usually because of peer pressure, other employers, such as your coworkers, don't leave before you. They sit there and wait for everybody else to get up and leave. It is called, most workers have to, there's a, hold on, what's it called? I'll edit this out. Oh, there it is.
Sorry, continue.
Japanese employers tend to embrace a group mentality, such as instead of you going and having yourself think of what's better for you, they actually cooperate with each other and only strive for better according to the group, such as if your CEO needs an assistant, you're going to strive for that work because he needs you instead of you wanting that job. They look up to superiors for making a decision. So they don't do anything. Even if your job is the smallest of small, you have to go up to the higher person above you and ask them, hey, is this okay? So if there's a garbage person that wants to mop the floor, you have to go up to your boss and ask them, hey, should I mop the floor? And it's gonna keep going up and up and up until it gets to the boss, and your boss has to approve it. It's called Nemawash, which basically assumes that everyone agrees to an idea or direction or protocol unofficially before things are official. Controversial topics that come from Japan work life is haizoku, a word commonly used in conversation about new hires. In Japan, if you're new there, you basically have to go to this trial period that's 1 to 2 years where you get moved around from spot to spot. So if you're hired for accounting, you might get moved on to finances, to advertisement, to management, to anything. It's good and bad because if you're really good at your job at finances and you get moved to advertisement, you won't know what to do. And you might learn, but someone who just knows that he's not good at finances and he wants to do economics, it's gonna suck for him because he knows he sucks over there, but he's good over here. But they're still making him do that. But I think that you should do that because it gives an improvement in your work life, such as you have an understanding of that section of work and you get to know everybody that works there. And you also have appreciation when you're going up in ranks. You understand, hey, I see this person struggling. I understand why because I was there. Being able, Jesus, I'll cut this out. Okay. In Japan, you see business people everywhere. So usually over here in America, we are all dressed casual and we don't really wear very business-like clothing. While in Japan, you can see men wear gray, navy, or black suits and always almost wearing ties, while women wear the exact same outfit. A white button-down shirt with navy or black blazer and a matching skirt, pantyhose, black kitty high heels, and their hair tied up in a ponytail. No matter if it's cold, hot, raining, windy, they will wear these outfits 24/7. But in 2017, they're trying to fix everything. They actually capped an amount of overtime passed. The debate passed a bill that caps an overtime of 100 hours, but they were thinking of maxing it out at 45, which they did. So now they can only work 45 overtime hours a month. And if a worker does pass the time, they get shamed and the workplace is fined for a violation for the rules. Thank you.